We're not a traditional barbecue place.
The two of us are very much outsiders to Southern cuisine, but I think it's one of our strengths.
That's why we are sitting in this place serving the food that we are, is because we felt no need to subscribe to any sort of traditions in terms of barbecue at all. We felt like we could do whatever we wanted. 12 years ago, my parents got a house in upstate New York, and my brother bought this little smoker, and up until that point I'd never really had actual barbecue because I grew up in Manhattan. We started just messing around on that, and it's like kind of blew my mind a little bit, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then just from there, it just became this thing that I became obsessed with. And wanted to do a barbecue place, but I understood that like I had no real background in it, but I still wanted to be in this business. A friend of mine was opening an art gallery, and he had this backyard, and he was like, hey, do you want to help me do this like pitmaster in residency program? And so I got into it like with the idea that like this probably won't happen, but worst case scenario, like I'll get to play around on like a massive 12-foot long smoker. The feedback was really great. And then and Nate came by that first season.
Yeah, I mean, I stopped by in August or September of 2015. First bite I took of the I think it was the pulled chicken sandwich. It just, you know, the acid balance, the kind of smoke character, just there's a lot of love that went into a very simple thing. I don't even like barbecue personally. And it was this sort of thing for me where I was like, this is delicious. And I just sort of texted Franco, you know, I'm gonna help you out this summer.
I hadn't even like reached out or anything to ask for help, but he was like, I want to help you with your thing. And I was like, okay.
It was part of my long game the whole time. To just be like, okay, I'm helping you now.
I was like, let's do it. The prime rib was a funny thing because Nate was doing the shop at Restaurant Depot that day, and he was supposed to buy beef ribs, but by accident he bought an entire rack of prime rib that's like this massive, massive cut of meat. It's gigantic.
I had it in my backpack on my Vespa, and I was like, it seems heavier than beef ribs normally are.
I was like, what the f is that? Like, I'd never put a prime rib on the smoker, so I didn't know what to do with it. So then, I don't know, I did some research online. I threw it on the smoker, did like simple like herb rub, super simple, and put it on there for like 2 hours.
The fat renders out, so you end up with a little bit of this smoked herb jus with all the herbaceous character.
It was like one of the most delicious things that we had done all summer, and yeah, people like loved it right away. It was like, you know, super smoky, like, which is not traditionally how you have prime rib, but people really took to it. I think it was like a really happy mistake.
Yeah, I only make excellent mistakes.
And like for us, this was like, it's a statement. It's not, you know, it's like, this is a smoky prime rib that's not your average thing that you'll get at a steakhouse. It's our version of this kind of like timeless, traditional thing.
Well, Franco's got a really picky palate. He's got what I refer to as like a live palate. He likes acid, he likes spice, he likes texture and crispiness. So I would say the broccoli has been something we've been playing with. So we do a charred chive plumage, which just kind of warms up the bite. And the vinaigrette we use for the broccoli has some yuzu kosho, which is a Japanese spicy herb. So again, the spice of the yuzu kosho cut with the acid of the lemon and the sort of creamy herbaceousness of the plumage.
The sides in general, I wanted them to, you know, all sort of like have those elements where they kind of like didn't bog down the meal. They kind of like helped you eat more, stuff that like wouldn't make you walk away feeling like you needed to be rolled out of here. The Manhattan wings are really special to me because I'm like a diehard Giants fan, and those are something that I've started cooking probably 3 or 4 years ago just at home. It's almost like religious. It came about because I used to order from this place, and one weekend they just like showed up like 3 hours late. It was like a disaster. It was like a playoff game, and I was like, I'm just gonna make my own wings, and that's how it came about. And Nate's had them the way I make them at home, which is slightly different.
So spicy.
The idea is that like the more we suffer eating the wings, the better the Giants will do.
It's like ritual sacrifice.
Yes, exactly.
It's like sadistic.
So obviously like having those on the menu is something I wanted to have happen. They're smoked cooked first and then grilled. They're obviously nowhere near as spicy, but they get our house rub and then a sauce that's a buffalo wing sauce, essentially. I mean, they're still absolutely delicious here. They're just not gonna blow your head off.
Yeah. You don't get the like light halos the same way as you do when you eat them at Franco's house.
Yeah. A lot of the food here is technically barbecue. We have a smoker in the kitchen. The menu is like a really nice mix of some barbecue elements and a lot of other like more traditional restaurant technique and cooking style.
And you know, in playing with the sort of steakhouse imagery, it does have a little bit of a Twilight Zone era manipulation feel. And that's something that I think is great because it takes people out of the mindset of the modern industry and centers it around more of a new classic style. And that was our big point of departure from, you know, our category of smoked meats.
For us, it's funny because in a lot of like the reviews and stuff, people are like, this is such a wild juxtaposition. But I think for us, it just totally makes complete sense.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed our latest Eat Seeker from Holy Ground. Just want to give you a heads up that starting next week, we'll be showcasing Thrillist's best new restaurants, or what we like to call the Prime 13. Check out our Eat Seeker from one of last year's picks, Mr. Jews, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to catch all of our best new restaurants videos.